Yeah, which reminds me, next time I go down to Rockford, I need to drop by that pie shop, because I was going to when I was heading down to Rockford to do the Oscars with you, but I just lost track of time and I didn't really get a chance to do it. So next time around, I definitely need to go down there. So,
Good. Commercials are working.
Yeah, no kidding. So going from you and Jennifer to you and Eric, also known as Donnie Deaderson, is the chemistry kind of the same thing between you and Jennifer as it is between you and Eric, or is it a little more different?
I think me and Eric have a good on-screen and off-screen relationship. His character is usually kind of mean to me, and so me and Eric joke around all the time, and we're just doing low blows at one another, and it's really fun. And we usually have some awkward scenes that I have to be really creepy with him, or he has to push me, and we get to joke around, and usually we do it multiple times too, so he gets to push me a lot. It's always fun. No, I love working with Eric. I always love his energy that he brings to the set. He's always joking around, always happy, up-tempo, and that's kind of what you need on the Deadersons. You need to be happy. If everybody's kind of gloomy and ooh, then you're not going to get the effect of a sitcom. You're just not. And sometimes you have those long days where you're shooting for 9 hours and you just kind of get oh, how am I going to get past this? And Eric's one of those actors that'll be like, we can do it, let's go, woo! Let me go smoke bone dust. He does not smoke bone dust. His character does. But, I love working with Eric, and I love all the actors on there. They're really fun. Everybody's a really good company. But I work with him a lot, too, now that I get my own little side story. But I don't know if I'll ever actually get in a relationship with Donnie. Even though that was my goal, it seemed like, as Stacy. It was my goal in life. But who knows?
It was honestly really funny when I saw the whole bone dust scene with Donnie and his friend, because I never thought for the life of me I would ever see zombies getting high on anything, really. And then I see that scene, I'm like, wow, they actually went down that route. I'm impressed. I loved it. I thought it was just funny. It was original, but also kind of was just yeah, this is kind of what you can expect from Stonors, but only in zombie deal. It was funny. I thought that was a really good scene. So, Eric, if you're listening to this, great job on that scene. You definitely pulled off a zombie stoner kind of deal.
I thought all stoners were zombies.
Well, okay, I can see your point there, because they always got the munchies and they're always kind of out there in their own little world. So I can definitely see that. Yeah, it is actually kind of interesting, because I did actually kind of figured after a while, after watching, what was it, first 12 episodes, that there was something between Stacy and Donnie, where Stacy was always trying to be nuzzle up next to him, being oh, sorry about this, or hey, how you doing, stuff like that, and Donnie would just be like, yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you, just doing I noticed those subtle things where you say yeah, thank you, but you're still in high school and I'm in college, so come on. And there was that one brief moment where I think it was Donnie and Sally was the girl's name, where he kind of just knows huh, I kind of never really thought of me and Stacy being together. It's really? I would have figured that, there was that, even that small hint of the memory back there where it'd be well, maybe, but, at the same time I could see it being very far back because she's in high school and he's a college graduate and blah, 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 that kind of deal. But moving on from that.
The sister.
Right, friend of the sister. But hey, if Stacy and Donnie, end up being together, then, Delia and Stacy can be sisters, so.
Oh my
god! Yeah, another thing that was kind of interesting and that we've had so many discussions on was your scenes when you're rehearsing with the band, where it's the... Oh man, I'm trying not to sound like a jerk for saying this. It always does sound like, whenever you're singing, you sound like, this pop, high-pitched, squealy, American Idol wannabe kind of girl, pop singer, that kind of a deal. And I made the comment saying, well, why don't you just have her, use her natural voice, because I'm sure it might seem a little more organic doing that. And of course, you would reply to, I don't know if I'm that good of a singer, so I think I'll pass.
Well, like I said, I can do some karaoke. I can rock a karaoke song, but I don't know. It depends on like the lyrics and the vocals. Like, I of course can hold a tune, but I don't know. It depends on what they want me to sing, and if we can auto tune it a bit. Because I know Stacy's supposed to be a fantastic singer, and I don't want to take away from her cred by being Tori, who's just an average singer, or VicTori.
Well,
Average singer.
well, okay, fair enough. I'll leave it at that. I will say that I did like like the auditions for the band where it was just kind of like oh well, either it's like the first person that they see, they do an amazing job, boom, you're in, or just oh, this girl's pretty enough, boom, you're in, because it does kind of stereotype the whole deal where it's just like oh well even if you're good, at least you're eye candy to most of the other people. But at the same time, it's good to know that there's at least some talent going into it. I think how they kind of balance that out quite a bit. And plus, hey, 2 guys, 2 girls in a band. When's the last time you saw that, really?
Right, and the drummer of the band is actually a real drummer from Madison, Wisconsin, and she
Really?
plays in the band Sunspot, which has been on Dead Girls Dark Coffin Classics now. I don't know how old their band is, but they are fantastic. I actually have a CD that I listen to like consistently in my car. I'm like, oh, I love it. And Wendy, who's the drummer, she also plays the fiddle or the violin. I think it's a violin.
Oh,
but
geez.
it's amazing. And to have a female drummer, I think, all in all, that's sick. That's awesome. And she has to carry all the drum sets. Like, it's National Women's Day. You go, Wendy.
To the true Wonder Woman of Madison, Wisconsin, Wendy. Shout out to you.
Right. I love that. That's awesome.
So we mentioned a lot of like the fun stuff when it comes to filming the Deadersons, but I also know that there has to be a lot of complications. Can you describe a time where it was one of those days where like nothing seemed to go right, or just everything just seemed to go completely flat? And no, Wyatt and Chris, this is not a shot to you guys. I'm an interviewer. I'm just trying to get information. Okay, I'm just trying to make it relatable. So by all means, was there a day where it just felt like anything and everything just went wrong?
There definitely was a day, and it's a day everybody hated. Everybody hated this day. And so I don't think anyone would be like, oh, like, how would you say that? They'd be like, oh, yeah, we hated that day.
Oh, yeah, I remember that day.
It was me, Jennifer, Ash, the actor for Ash. Wyatt was there. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if Chris was there. I don't think she was. And then we had Derek there for, like, helping with sound. And Derek's wife, Dawn, was there. And then we had to go to one of our, like, movie friends' house later. So we were shooting all day. It was one of the 12-hour, I think. It's a 12-hour day. And we had to do, like, this shot outside of, like, what used to be Kryptonite in Rockford. And it just had a cool old phone booth. And basically, like, I think we were trying to call Ash's parents, and we were trying to find out what they were doing. So we were shooting that, and we had a lot of sound issues just because of the wind. And it wasn't too cold, but it was kind of cold. So we were outside for a long time. Then we had to go back to Wyatt's house, which was maybe like a 15-minute drive. We were, like, trying to wait on some pizza and stuff, and we were starving, so everybody got crabby. And then we had to continue to shoot and go to another location. And at the location, the camera battery died. And so we were trying to figure out a way to jerry-rig this whole thing to happen. And we were already waiting for, like, 40 minutes to get into the guy's house, because he wasn't there. We weren't, like, and we were like, oh no, like, are we just gonna chill outside? I guess so. And we finally, the guy was kind enough to shoot it for us. Like, he's like, I have a camera too, and I'll shoot it. And we ended up shooting it all day, and we're like, oh, thank goodness. And we were missing an actor, so we had to, like, memorize random lines to just throw in there, just improvise. And then at the end of all that, at the end of the day, we realized that Ash's character was wearing a different jacket than he did at the beginning. So Wyatt just had to try to, like, blend it in together, and he was like, I can't believe this. And it was just a rough shoot, and it was just a rough 12 hours, but I've had worse, so I don't blame anyone. That's what happens on small productions. Like, if people sometimes forget, and you don't have a props department, you don't have an AD checking everything. Like, all we have is one guy, which is Wyatt, looking at the film and hoping that he gets everything that's in the script and everything into the camera, and if all this is working, and how he's going to cut the film, because it's filmed in widescreen, but he cuts it down to the square like the old sitcoms. So he had a lot on his plate, and I'm pretty sure, like, she was either sick or she had to work. So it just turned out that it was one of those days where you're just, like, going home like, I hate life. But you still come back because you love the Deadersons. You love who you're working with and stuff. So, and the Deadersons would have less main cast and everything if they weren't a pleasure to work with. People would have left by now. So. Right.
Yeah, I've oh gosh, trust me, even with the last, like, few weeks, there's been some of those days where I just feel like I hate everything. Just leave me be. There was even a point where during one wrestling event where I just remember one of my friends just being like, "You okay, buddy? You okay, buddy?" I'm like, "No, don't touch me, dude. Don't touch me." I had to walk outside and just cool off. It was that frustrating. So I definitely know the feeling when it comes down to that. But man, that does sound like it was rough. So I'm guessing Wyatt probably learned a few things. One being always carry an extra battery. And the second being, make sure that the actors have the same clothing they had for the second location. So that way it's not like, oh, well, somehow magically he acquired this vest that just, like, no explanation behind it. Just.
I mean, it's kind of, it's not always just on Wyatt, because, like, I usually bring my own clothing and wear all my own wardrobe. Even if it gets green on it, I'm okay. So I'm in charge of my own wardrobe.
No.
And
really?
And some of the other actors do the same thing. I think they don't usually rely as much on their own wardrobe, but I do that because I like the consistency, and I like to know that I'm going to wear something different. I'm going to wear something that obviously fits. And so Jacob, who was the actor there, I think he just, I mean, you don't film next day, and then you don't go into the next day. We film weeks after some of the days. So it's like he forgot. And he just forgot. So it's not something you can really blame on anyone. You just have to deal with it. And what was awesome is Wyatt was, like, waiting for people to jump out and be like, what the heck is going on? Why does it look so different? And blah, blah, blah. And nobody's noticed it. And you didn't even tell me about it. So it's great that, like, little things like that will literally kill you on the inside as a director, producer, or something of a thing, and you're, like, dying on the inside watching it. Sometimes your audience doesn't even notice. They don't really care. They're so involved in the story that it doesn't matter. And that's the cool thing, is that on a small production, your audience needs to be a little forgiving, because sound issues, wardrobe issues, there are going to be issues, because this is not our main job. This is just something that we're trying to put together as an entertainment factor, and we want it to eventually maybe be our main job and make some income off of it. But, right now it's just what it is.
So basically, kind of a brief preview going into season 2. What are some things that we could definitely expect from Stacy? Because I know obviously we're going to see a lot more of her. If you haven't seen the season 2 opening credit sequence, definitely go check it out, because they actually not only include all the main actors, but I also add you into it as well. Are we going to see